Hey everyone, welcome to Chapter 12, Section 4. Here we're going to go over volumes of prisms and cylinders. So the volume of a prism, well, volume as a concept is a three-dimension. It's all the space inside. We were talking about area, then surface area. That's everything on the outside or flat surfaces. So volume's everything on the inside. So that's going to be three dimensions. So you're going to be multiplying at least three things together. So the formula is volume of big B times H. Big B would be area of the base. Okay? A lot of times people can just remember for a prism or a cube, it's just length times width times height. Well, big B is length times width. So to start off, I have volume is 24 times 20 times 10. Volume equals 4,800 centimeters cubed now. Again, the unit tells you kind of what dimension you're in. We're in the third dimension here because we're multiplying three things. All right. Now, let's see here. What's big B on this triangular prism? Big B would be area of the base of a triangle. So I have 9 times, I don't know the height, but guess what? We can figure it out using the Pythagorean theorem. If I have 15 here and I have 15 there, that means I have my hypotenuse, my C. So I'm going to say 15 squared minus 9 squared. I'm going to square root that. And that's going to tell me H. When I do 15 squared minus 9 squared and square root it, that's going to give me a value of 12. So now I just go big B is base of 9 times a height of 12 divided by 2 times the height of the prism, which is 10. Okay, and just type all that in. You're going to get volume is 540 cubic feet. Okay, on this one, here I have a trapezoidal prism. So you need to do the area of the base. Well, that's going to be 1/2 times your height of the trapezoid, so 3, times base 1 plus base 2 from the trapezoid. And then you're going to times that by the height of the prism, which is 12. So your volume is going to equal 396 inches, cubic inches. I was about to say inches cubed, but usually people read it as cubic inches or cubic feet, cubic yards, cubic meters. Yeah, you get the point. So just to reiterate, all this was the area of the base. This was the height of the prism. And I don't like writing it there. Here, this is the big B, this is the H, and that's all I have to say about that. Let's move on to somewhere we work backwards. Here this says volume is 1440, so I'm going to write 1440 equals, well, I did length times width times height, right? So 15 times 8 times x. Well, what's 15 times 8? That's going to be 120. So I have 120x equals 1440. So I just divide. 1440 divided by 120 is, you guessed it, 12. And you're just going to write meters. Not meters cubed, because I'm not finding out the volume. I was working backwards from it. I was finding one dimension of it. So, yeah. This one, volume equals 360, and it's going to be, your big B is 1/2, base times height, or base times height divided by 2. So we have 8 times, well, I don't know. Let's see here. If you were to stand this prism up, it would look something like this, a three-dimensional version of that. So I'm not a good artist, but oh my god. Here's my triangular prism. It looks like 8 is one of those, so like maybe this is 8 and this is 17. So guess what? We don't know our little b. So I have to repeat the process I did before of using the Pythagorean theorem. So over here, I'm just going to go square root of 17 squared minus 8 squared equals my little base, which is 15. All right, so this is 8 times 15 over 2. And then times that by the height of your pure prism, that's x. So this one's kind of unfair because you have two unknowns here. You had the unknown of the base of the base, or the triangle. And then you also don't know the width or whatever, the height of your prism. So, but now we figured out one thing, so figuring out the other thing shouldn't be too difficult. Let's see here. 8 times 15 divided by 2 is 60. So we have 60x equals 360. So 360 divided by 60 is 6. X equals 6 feet. There we go. That's about as challenging as it can get. Now, let's move on to the back, and let's find the volume of the cylinder. Okay, well, let's not go too fast. It's still big B times H, but what's the area of the base on a circle? Pi r squared. So this is volume equals pi. Looks like 9 is my radius because it's pointing to the top half of the line. So pi 9 squared times 5. All you have to do is type that in, and we just plug everything in. We didn't have to find any missing number or anything like that. So I get 1272.35 cubic inches. Okay? And then if it's an oblique cylinder, that just means it's slanted. If something's slanted, well, just look. Do I give you a perpendicular height? Height has to be straight up and down. Yes, I do. It's 25. Do I give you the radius? Yes, it's 15. Then you have everything you need to know. So volume is going to equal pi times 15 squared times 25. You know, if I gave you this number right here, this slanted height, and I didn't give you this one, you'd have to do some Pythagorean theorem to figure that out. But, yeah, like I was saying, this one, we don't need to do any of that. Just plug everything in. So I get an approximate volume of 17,671.5 cubic feet. Okay? And the last one here, I'm going backwards. 72 pi is my volume. You could type that in and approximate it, but trust me, don't do that right now. It's easier if you just leave it as 72 pi. So that's going to equal pi times r squared, which is x squared, times 2. So if you want to rewrite this so it looks a little neater, you're going to write 2 pi times x squared equals 72 pi. So this is a straight up multiplication problem, so if you divide out 2 and pi, well, guess what? Look, these pi's cancel. So that's what I was saying. Don't get the decimal approximation because your pi's will cancel. So 72 divided by 2 is 36. So it says 36 equals x squared, which tells me I need to square root both sides. And that tells me x is going to equal 6 centimeters. And that's it for this section. Okay, we just covered volume of prisms and cylinders, and it's, you know, area of the base times the height, and just make sure you get you do the right thing for the area of the base, and that's about it. So until next time, goodbye everyone.